YouTube, how to Ducky doing Duck Films here, and today we're breaking down a full Arc Raiders weapon tier list based on real gameplay, PvP fights, PvE pressure, and what actually wins you encounters. I'm not doing any theory crafting, no spreadsheet only stats. This is from running these weapons against real actual players. If you want to know what's worth keeping, what's overrated, and what's a trap, this video is 100% for you. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit the like button and of course subscribe. Now I do want to talk about how this tier list actually works, so here's a little quick explanation before we start. So this tier list is PvP first because that's where loadout decisions truly and actually really matter. Of course the PvE value still counts, but winning player fights is the priority. Another thing, if you're familiar with any of my other content or tier lists, typically left to right order on the actual category doesn't apply to me, and I just put each weapon in their respective tier. If I put, say, the Venator, the Osprey, and S tier, if I put the Osprey before the Venator, it's not changing like one is better than the other, it's just the same category. Because some guns farm well, some guns win duels, and very few do actually both. I'll of course call out sleeper picks, comfort weapons, and high-risk choices as we go. But without further ado, let's start with our D tier category. The bottom of the tier list, probably what you want to be looking to avoid. More specifically, D tier weapons are immediately outclassed, too inconsistent, or simply not worth carrying past early game. Now, as much as I love the hairpin and think it's hilarious, unfortunately this is going to be going straight into the D tier. No excitement, no pressure, no reason to run it once you find literally anything else. But some quick stats, it only does 20 damage. Its range is about 38 meters. It's not the best in terms of stability or, damaging enemies because it is a light ammo weapon. So it is pretty inconsistent. It's a one-shot, then you have to cock the gun, or it's a bullpup type of a weapon. Again, probably not the best weapon to be running whatsoever, but definitely something that's extremely funny to the game, and I think it is pretty fun to use, but unfortunately we're looking at, I guess, D tier, C tier. I don't know why C is below, but you get the idea. D tier is where it's sitting. Moving on, we're actually going to go to the Arpeggio. I don't really like this gun. It's a burst gun, so it shoots 3 bullets. But the issue is, even though it does do a decent amount of damage as a medium weapon type, you have other guns that outrange, outdamage, and just outclass it in respective in PvP especially. There's a lot of people that like the gun. I personally am not one of those people. I think you just lose to too many different guns and too many other environments or environmentals, the arcs, that this gun kind of doesn't really shine. It also chews through a lot of ammo because it is shooting in burst. So for that reason, I think we're looking more of the D tier category, and I don't think you can really place it anywhere else. I mean, you could move it up to C if you wanted to, but I just don't think it's that good. Some people think that the Beretta deserves to be down in this category, but I actually think it's a pretty decent weapon for PvP. So I'm actually not going to move that or touch that. And I think we're sitting at these two weapons for the D tier category. Of course, you can let me know what you think in the comments down below, as always. So, continuing along the way, we're looking at C tier category. And for the C tier, there's only about 1 or 2 weapons that fit into this category. I personally think that these guns you use until you find something better. They're fine for early skirmishes, PvE cleanup, and learning different types of recoil patterns, but once players are actually truly geared, these weapons struggle to keep up. You can win fights with them, but you're working much harder than you actually need to. For instance, again, like the Beretta. Now, this gun can feel like the best gun in the world sometimes. It doesn't feel like the best gun in the world other times. The gun is solid, don't get me wrong. It has its certain uses in certain niches, but I think personally, for my opinion, it does not fit into like a high category because it just doesn't really match up to guns like the Stitcher, the Kettle. You can even throw like any other gun into the game as well. It just kind of struggles really hard. Another gun I think that is kind of in the same boat, unfortunately, is the Torrent. Now, the Torrent is good. It's a very high DPS weapon, but you have to be pretty much point blank, I guess point blank distance for this gun to really just dish out a ton of damage. And at that point, I'd rather just use a Toro. I would slide in, shoot the Toro once, dash away, and then slide back in and shoot again, and the person is down. Whereas on the torrents, you kind of just have to hold down your fire button and slow walk at people. It has its certain uses in certain niches, just like the Bruletta, but I think it's still in that kind of realm where it's not good, it's not bad, it's all right. So I think sitting in the D tier is perfectly fine, in my opinion, and perfectly justified. Now, continuing on to the B tier category, I think for the B tier category, some guns can honestly fit into this. Like, B tier is where weapons start to become super viable, but still have clear weaknesses. For example, the Stitcher is a perfect example. At close range, it melts, but that's the problem. You have to be close. If you keep a distance and play angles, you win that fight most of the time. Another weapon that's in kind of this B tier category, I'm honestly going to say is the Volcano. The Volcano on most maps is alright. If you're playing on maps like Stella Montes or any other, trying to go for close range, I think this is kind of what we're looking at. Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're looking at with that. Same can be said with the Osprey. It has its uses. For me, for most players, this kind of sits around here. Not a lot of people use it. I'm a personally big believer in the Osprey. I really and truly like this weapon. I'm putting it like A tier, like SA. I think the Stitcher's fine. I think the only weapon I put in B is that weapon. Like, I think that's fine. So B tier is like comfort picks. A tier is like weapons that would like generally win you fights. And in terms of the A tier, I think a gun like, I mean, the Pharaoh's pretty solid in my opinion, as well as the Osprey. Both do pretty good damage. I'm pretty sure the Osprey has a 2.5% headshot or 2.5x headshot multiplier, which is insane. I think the Stitcher is on A or S tier. I could one clip or one mag a lot of people. I think what else should be there? Maybe a weapon. I've used the Aphelion a little bit. I think it's pretty good. Jupiter's alright. It's not the best. It's not the worst. I think for A tier, that's pretty solid. Because there's like a lot of. I mean, I'm honestly going to put Anvil A as well, because I think there's way better guns in the S tier that are cheaper. For example, I think the Kettle right now is insane. It does a ton of damage with or without a macro. Like, if you're using a macro, it's cheating, and you shouldn't be doing that. But you can also just shoot the gun extremely fast on your own, and it does a ton of damage. You can easily one mag a person. I think the Toro is also S tier. The gun is insane. I think the Vendor, even after the nerfs, is still a very solid weapon. I think the Renegade is insane as well. Still very good at ranges. I think you have to put the Tempest and the Bobcat in this category as well. This is where things get a little bit interesting with these, because the Rattler is like, at first I hated this weapon. I thought this was bottom of the barrel, like worse than the Hairpin. But honestly, when you get a free kit with a Rattler, I've pulled off a ton of one clips on people, like shooting all the bullets. I just wish it reloaded a lot faster and you reloaded more bullets at one time instead of just reloading two. I think it's like all right. I think it's like C. Like, it's usable. It's pretty good, but it's like not a weapon I wouldn't recommend to use. Um, the Patina, I think this weapon is only good for PvE. I think it's really bad. Same with the Hole Cracker. Don't use it for PvP. It's mainly a PvE weapon. Um, Jupiter, Jupiter and Equalizer. Jupiter is all right. I think we're looking at PvE. Same with these two as well. I mean, the Aphelion's like all right. I'll put it like C. I think this is a pretty solid tier list. Everything looks fine. I'm pretty happy with this tier list. Maybe I could fit some more into like the B tier. Maybe I can move Aphelion up to B. Like, I think it's fine. I don't think it's like insane. But I think it's fine. I would still choose like a majority of these weapons instead. Like, each weapon has its certain use case, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Again, everyone has their own opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. People can be right, people can be wrong. And it's all based on user preference.
at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter too much. But this is kind of what I think are like the weapons you want to be looking out for.
Of course, if you liked what you see, or if this helped you in any way, shape, or form, do me a favor hitting the like button and, of course, subscribe.